Morning,
Good
Battle. How are you?
morning. I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I am great. I am great.
Yeah.
Last week was a whirlwind of activity.
Oh my goodness. It was the busiest week leading up to Veterans Day that I've had since pre-2020.
Wow.
It was yeah, it was definitely a busy week, recognizing veterans for their service and, just opportunities to talk about what we in Action Zone do, and other organizations in support of veterans in transition and then those that have been out for a while. Um, I was shocked that the event on Tuesday night where I was interviewed, like we had somebody come, this guy I've known for years and years. He came all the way down from Huntsville, Alabama, when he saw that I was speaking. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe it.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, there was another event that someone came from far away too, and I was just like, and not necessarily to see me, but just the impact that Tampa Bay's business or veteran community has, not
Hmm.
in the region, or locally in the region, the state of Florida, but it extends outside the state.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because we're not all stationary. Some of us are gypsies.
Yeah.
We're from everywhere. But to see how far Tampa has come in the last 6 or 7 years, both in entrepreneurial support and collaboration amongst the entrepreneur support organizations, as well as the people coming out of the woodwork to be part of these organizations. It was tough back in 2017, 16, 18 to get, first of all, so many veterans don't self-recognize or proclaim that they are a veteran-owned business or a veteran in business, and for reasons that I'm sure there's many, but now it's almost we seek each other out, right? The community, those in the community seek each other out and start pulling people in. You have to be a part of this. You have to meet this person. You could really benefit from knowing this thing is going on. It doesn't matter what it's about because
Yeah.
it transcends entrepreneurship. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, it transcends the boundaries of any one organization's mission. It's just very collaborative, and once you get involved in the singular family for any one organization, then you have access to this global family that just goes beyond the borders of the state.
Yeah, funny you say that because I just remembered the other person came from Vegas, all the way from Vegas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and speaking of Vegas, military influencer conference, I already have a couple of emails where we missed you at MIC this year, but I ran into so and so, and they told me that I needed to reach out to you, or whatever. So I've got some follow-ups for military influencer conference, and I wasn't even there.
Yeah, that's always nice. I know the
Yeah.
emails were flying when people first started arriving. I was like, where are you at? Or where are you going to be? Do you have a table set up? No, I'm not there this time.
Yeah, yeah. It was a tough week to split the team, like this team right down the middle.
Yeah,
Everything going on.
definitely. Yeah, you were
Yeah,
hustling it all week.
I was. Um, so what else is going on other than recapping last week? Applications, of course. Our next cohort is in February, and I'm shocked at how many applications we have already. People are really looking to start building, grow their businesses.
Yeah, and the virtual option, which is what we're doing in February, has become very popular because it serves the need of the third shift entrepreneur, right? They've got a job and they've got a family and they have hobbies, presumably. And so it's very difficult to actually drive into Tampa on Saturday mornings to see what's going on. So the virtual option, while still being held on Saturday mornings, certainly gives a great deal of benefit in not having to restructure everything you're doing on Saturday morning to get in the car and drive.
Yeah, it's it'll be fun. I mean, there are, I think, probably two sessions that we as the facilitators have to work extra hard to make sure that it's impactful, because it is very in-person topic. But between 2020 and 2021, I think we figured it out and became experts on how to do that. So
Yeah.
that would be good.
Well, this is what I tell people about virtual opportunities. And this is what I believe about virtual opportunities, is that first of all, you get out of it what you put into it. So if you sit on a Zoom in a webinar or a workshop that's being held online, and you're sitting there with your camera off, and you're multitasking on this side of the screen and not really capturing what's being provided for you, then you're gonna lose something. So you get out of it what you put into it. But the other side of that is that the facilitator needs to be engaged and to engage with everyone that's in the room. And that's a very specialized skill that you have to develop as a facilitator. If you facilitating in the classroom face to face, you can see when people are kind of lost or confused. You can see when they've disengaged or are not participating with groups when you indicate it's time for those. So you can act on that more quickly or more immediately even. But on the virtual setting, the facilitators managing not just the content that they're delivering, but they're also trying to engage with everyone in the room. And it's much more difficult to do that. So the facilitator has to be really good at managing the virtual room, even more so than they do manage a personal room. So when you attend a virtual workshop, appreciate all that facilitator is doing if it's a really great experience, because that's not an easy task. And it's something you have to practice and practice and practice. You're on mute. You owe me, like, what was that? 5 words, $1.25.
There was an ambulance that drove by, so I put it on mute. But yeah, when you're on the student side, you don't always, the fan just turned on with no one touching the button. Anyway, you don't realize how much work it takes to be the facilitator. Yeah, so if you sign up for virtual, y'all better show up. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. And we love seeing you, whether you're in person or on the Zoom.
That's true.
We are so lucky to be able to do this. So we say this a lot, and people who know us already know this, but we are so lucky to be able to do this. And so,
yep.
And we want to do it. It's not a chore. It's not a job. It's not even, I mean, it is a business and it is a job, but it goes beyond that. We are heartfelt, totally invested in everybody that comes through the program. And so we want you to succeed, and we want to know what we can do to help you. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes we try to make connections and provide you with resources, or maybe it doesn't work out that way, but there's never a lack of effort or desire on our part to get that done. So, but people who know us know that.
Yeah. I just realized that, one, I forgot to change my name to Valerie. I'm Valerie, not Rosie, although people confuse the two of us, despite the fact that you're blonde and I'm not.
And I'm older and you're not.
And I forgot to start it on my phone so that I could say good morning to people.
Oh,
so
good morning, today.
Yeah, good morning. I wanted to mention USF game, the Salute to Service game on Saturday. I wore a hat that has first sergeant rank on it. And I don't normally, wear that unless it's something very specific for Veterans Day. But I was really amazed at how many veterans were there working.
Really?
Yeah, and because I was wearing the hat and I was sporting Club 214 t-shirt, a lot of them stopped to talk, stopped me to talk and, talk about what rank or what service they were in, and, a little bit about their service. So 2 of them were actually entrepreneurs.
Nice.
Yeah, one of them makes flags similar to what you have behind you, but and then the other one, he owns a couple of furniture stores.
I need the names. You'll have to make sure I get the names.
Here in Clearwater. I mean, he looked so super young, like, in his 20s. And I told him, contact me, would love to share your story. I'm fascinated to learn how he got into the furniture business. That's a unique one.
It is.
We've had people
It
who've made furniture, like wood, workers and stuff, but nothing like that. So cross our fingers, he actually reaches out.
That'll be nice. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
You have to recognize, Valerie, that they all look really young to you and I.
The older we get, the younger they look, right?
Oh my gosh, I have crossed that threshold where I became my mother and went, how could you possibly? I looked at my primary care doctor and years ago when I met one of my primary care doctors, and I said, oh my God, are you just out of college? Because he didn't look old enough to be a doctor.
Yeah. So
It
fun.
was crazy. Yeah, that's a fun part of growing older.
I also met a guy, he started coaching women tackle football league or team here in Tampa, which I didn't even know they had that. But though he was not a veteran, he played football in the NFL. He was like, it's a women's tackle football league and they needed a women's coach. So he like actively sought out his replacement. And I was like, that's what the military teaches us. You're off, Dan's feeling feisty, wants to play. But I was like, we are trained to be looking for our replacement, to train our replacement. So again, every time we have opportunities to talk to professional athletes, we see the commonality between military service, professional athletes, and public safety, like first responders,
Right.
law enforcement and stuff like that.
Definitely a parallel of skills and aptitudes.
Yeah.
Attitudes.
And when you're heading into battle, so to speak, there's a transformation that it just has to happen, and when I say battle, whether it's literally war or going on the football field, and he was kind of describing that to us because Chelsea Crowley and Robbie McGinnis went with me, both female veterans as well. And his contract advisor was there, and he said, just going down on the field on the sidelines before the game, he was like, it's almost physically noticeable how he transforms, and he's not even playing anymore. Like he's in his
right.
60s, but it's just that sensation of being on that quote unquote, battlefield. So yeah, it was pretty cool actually to talk about all the similarities in athletics and military.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was very, very gracious. Melissa Marin of the works at the USF Foundation reached out to me to see if there are any veterans that could, me and a couple other veterans to attend so that we could, just be recognized. It was cool.
Yeah. You showed up for the beginning of the class for cohort 15 this week. I was grateful that the majority of them arrived on Saturday, even though it was Veterans Day. A couple of them actually had to work that in their business, had contracts that they had to fulfill that day. But you missed another great class because the conversations were just so insightful. And just every time they get a little bit more data that they need to process for their own business. So I always leave Saturday classes so uplifted. It gives me energy to continue the day.
Yeah. Well, the conversation it was so fascinating before I left that we actually left almost 30 minutes later than we
were. I saw that after you left. I went, wow, they got a late start.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was the HR personnel conversation about company culture and leadership. And as military people, those conversations tend to bubble to the top, especially, leadership. But, I just want them to realize that it's more than just that they really have to posture their company and build their HR department, not necessarily in personnel, but policies and regulations. I mean, there's things that by law that they have to have prepared before they start hiring people.
Yeah.
So
It's so funny when we're talking, you and I always say, and I always say, and you always agree because it's the same for you. And I'm sure for Russ and Jeremy as well, but we could talk about entrepreneurial geeky stuff all day long. And even when we have other places to be, I was so grateful that you invited me to do a business model canvas workshop, overview
we didn't-
workshop for your Leadership Tampa Bay group on Friday. I don't even know, was it Friday?
Yes.
Yes, it was Friday. I could talk about that stuff all day long. And your group from the Leadership Tampa Bay were just so receptive to and thoughtful about what I was sharing with them. And I loved the one gentleman who said, I have to apologize. At the beginning, he said, I have to apologize. I have to be out of here at 9:15 because I have another place I have to be doing a podcast. So, it wasn't really very flexible. And
now, mind you, we start at 9.
Yes, yes. And we'd been talking in that 30 minutes of networking time beforehand. But when he finally got up to leave, I looked at my phone for the time and it was 9:37. And I thought that was a real testament to how engaging that conversation just was, that he didn't even pull himself away and he had to be someplace to do a podcast. So I think it's not accolades on me. It's just how you can tap into the things that people need to know about, or the things that they're interested in, or a fleeting topic or some conversation that happens that people go, I really needed to know that today. Yeah. And so it just becomes so engaged, and it was a really great conversation, all of them at the workshop on Friday, much like the class on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, James has such a fascinating story, but some points to add to the story. He moved down here from New York. He doesn't have a vehicle. So he either Ubered or borrowed a vehicle just to presumably, hang out with us for 15 minutes.
Right.
He's a serial entrepreneur. He's had a couple of exits, all in technology, I believe. And we have some people who are just like in the very infancy stage of their side hustle because they are all business professionals or entrepreneurs in that group. So just much like our class, ideation to expert, or much like our Action Zone cohorts over the years, from ideation to presumably experienced business professionals who gain so much from learning really the nuts and bolts of the business model canvas. Not, I've heard about the business model canvas, but the nuts and bolts of it, having it broken down, and showing them how each piece feeds into each other so that they can start building, grow, either start a sustainable business or strengthen the business foundation that they have so that they can continue to scale and grow. Yeah. So it's we've been this is just for my, within my cohort at Leadership Tampa Bay, but we share with people. I'll post on Facebook when we get together. We've had a couple people from previous cohorts that now want to join us, so that's really cool. It's I recognized a need for something like this when I was going through my cohort experience.
Go figure.
And I wanted the first in-person experience to be the business model canvas, because that is the foundation of everything when it comes to building your business.
I suspect that the more of these that you do with the Leadership Tampa Bay alum, that you will get others to join, because I think it's going to be a very powerful group to self-driven, I assume, to continue the support that they got through such a powerful program as Leadership Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah, Leadership Tampa Bay, I mean, hands down, behind Action Zone, the most phenomenal experience since I retired from the military, mostly because you know, in the military, we move around. For me, you know, my own personal experience, I never had a sense of community. You know, I was living in the communities. My stepson played sports, and you know, we would do some of the tourist things, and you know,
Yeah.
that like we would live in the community, but to be connected to the community and be ingrained in the community it was very foreign. So settling in Tampa over actually 10 years that I've over 10 years that I've been here, 11 years, has been phenomenal. Like I totally feel a part of the community. But then Leadership Tampa Bay showed us some lifted the veil, so to speak, showed us some the behind the scenes of our community, and it's just eye opening. I just loved every single minute of it.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope Alice is listening. She's doing an amazing job. She's the executive director. But so what's going on this week at the ECC? Last week was really, they had a lot of really good events last week. We were there 3 times.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Nothing today. Tomorrow, Diane through Action Zone is doing her online marketing, fall in love with digital marketing. That's tomorrow at 10 a.m. Tomorrow night, Hillsborough County Black Chamber has a networking event, followed by Young Entrepreneurs of America. Of course, 1 Million Cups. And this week is Cigar City Toastmasters. So
Yeah, I think 1 Million Cups is a special edition too. I think
it is.
it's a special networking edition, I think, of 1
Yeah.
Million Cups, which is so cool. It is still one of the best programs for entrepreneurs in the area. And
It is, and I
talk
wish,
about it all the time, and we recommend you try to make time to be there all the time because it is really, really cool.
I know, and if you and I didn't live so far, we would make it every Wednesday, but we both
Yeah.
live far from the ECC. So 9 o'clock on Wednesday is pretty hard. And in fact, I'm looking at my calendar to see if I can even try to force my way there, but I don't think I can. But anyway, yes, it is a special edition, 1 Million Cup special edition. We should have had Lynn on so she can talk about it, but anyway.
You know, you say that, and I don't think we've ever had Lynn on. I mean, we've been doing this since 2020. We need to have Lynn on. Lynn, we're going to be calling you. We got to find a time.
I know that she is the treasure chest of everything entrepreneurial in Tampa Bay area.
Absolutely, and beyond, because she has so many connections just beyond Tampa Bay. She is an economic development professional, and she's got her hand on and finger on the pulse of a lot of things that are going on.
Yeah. So SCORE has a couple of events. That's on the 18th, but understanding and negotiation construction contracts, preparing your business plan. What's the 15th? Oh, that's it. Yes.
Awesome.
So,
well, I know that we could sit and chat for about mindless stuff because we just can. But I have a really full schedule this week, so I'm gonna say that we close it off for today. We're happy. We hope everybody had a happy and restful weekend and Veterans celebration. And thank you always for participating with us on our Facebook page and Instagram account, and for sending us emails and texts. There isn't a week that goes by that I don't hear from somebody from Action Zone for something. Sometimes just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. So we appreciate that. And we will see you again next Monday.
Yep. And I will
a week before Thanksgiving. And then, man, after that, not a whole lot gets done, but the whole lot needs to. So let's get ready for the hustle, for the end of the year hustle.
Absolutely. And I will drop links in the chat for Action Zone events that are coming up. We have 2 at the ECC, Diane's tomorrow. And then Felicia Pecora is giving a risk assessment, or not a risk assessment class. It's in light of the shootings in Ybor a couple of weeks ago, is going to be helping business owners and just community members on what to do, because you never think it's going to happen in your community until it's too late. So, all right, my friend, onward to be productive.
Yeah. Best of luck to all of you on this week. May the odds be ever in your favor. Bye.
Bye.